Welcome back to the Creative Conversation, the podcast that shares the real behind the scenes of running a business. This is series 2 of the Creative Conversation, and we're starting it a little bit differently. I'm going to be in the hot seat and Amy's going to be asking me questions. So the first series was packed with honest stories and insights from small business owners and how they felt throughout their business journey, and I thought it would be only fair for me to share my story and how I've built Greene Creatives. So expect some honest reflections, the real behind the scenes, how I took this from like a side hustle to full-time job, and what it feels like being the one building the brand. So, Amy?
Right, so we're going to start with some fun questions,
Okay,
just to get you in the swing. Are we ready?
we're
Right.
ready.
What did you want to do when you were younger, and did you ever think you'd own your own business?
So, when I was younger, I wanted to do various different things. I wanted to be a vet.
Yeah, that's common.
But I remember my auntie, who's like animal mad, telling me that I would need to put my hand in a cow's bum. So I didn't do it.
Yeah, that wouldn't be for me.
And also I'm not clever enough to be a vet. They're like crazy clever. And then I've also fancied being an art teacher, but I don't think I have the patience for that. And then as I got older, I wanted to work in fashion, but when I was at university, I was going to be a fashion buyer. I was interested in doing that.
Yeah.
Because we did like a buying module in my degree, but I then went and interned at London Fashion Week.
Oh my God.
And I think it was after I came back from travelling. Yeah, so I would have been going into my 4th year, and yeah, I realised that quickly that was not for me.
Really?
Yeah, it was a lot of work, obviously not paid. Didn't like the whole rat race vibe of London, so yeah.
How interesting. Okay. What is your coffee order?
I like a latte with oat milk or almond milk, and usually sugar-free caramel syrup.
Exhibit A. Okay, and your most used emoji on your brand?
Probably the green love heart.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, just fitting, just with the name. We're gonna go into your backstory of the business.
Okay.
So what were your jobs before this, and how did you get here?
From school, I've always worked in shops. So I worked in River Island when I was at school. I've also worked for Miss Selfridge, Forever 21.
Oh my God, wow.
When I lived in Glasgow. I was supposed to go to Aberdeen for uni after school, but I ended up not doing that, and I worked with our family accountancy firm. Was probably the worst admin assistant they've ever had in their life. And then I went to uni, obviously worked Miss Selfridge as a Christmas temp, and then Forever 21. And then I went travelling over the summer from 3rd year into 4th year. So I went to Dubai, Australia, New Zealand and LA on my own.
Wow.
And then went into 4th year. We were only in uni for like 1 day a week. So I was like, there's no point living in Glasgow.
No.
So got a job with the visual team in Debenhams when it was in Dundee, and met my long-time client, Kay.
Oh.
She used to be my supervisor, so we've worked together for years. And then obviously finished uni, I got a job with the Scottish watch brand Cartel, so helped like build their online presence. That was like such a small team, so we did loads. You had to do lots of different roles, which you'll realise now that you work for a small business as well. I loved that, like absolutely loved that job, but it just got to a point where I felt like I needed a little bit more of a challenge, and I went and worked in the oil industry. Hated that.
Yeah.
But while I was working at Cartel, Fern opened Palace Beauty, and she was just stressed, and I remember it being in October 2018, and I was like, look, I'll just do your post for you. Greene Creatives was kind of born from that. I was asked at the time, when I kind of like made our own Facebook and Instagram, are you going to have your own business? And I was like, oh no, I don't want to chase money for invoices and stuff. But yeah, so I don't think I thought I was gonna, I don't really know what I thought I was doing. But then it just grew. and it is what it is now.
Here we are.
Mm.
And it's so successful.
Yeah.
I know. Where did the idea for your business come from?
So I suppose Fern asking for help was kind of...
That links in with like
Yeah.
that.
But working for a small brand, I realised, I think that was kind of like the planted the seed for me that whenever like things were tight and budget was tight, marketing was always the first thing to go. And then I realised when we did work with like big PR agencies and stuff, like I remember I went down to London to work with one of the PR agencies that we worked with Cartel, and they had huge brands like Puma.
Wow.
I'm sure, was it Puma? There was Canadian Goose.
Wow.
Yeah, there was loads. So we were like a tiny fish in a huge pond, and I just realised that it's a bit... And then Cartel were obviously a lot bigger than what Fern was, so Fern would never be able to have, at that time, outsourced marketing to an agency. So I guess kind of seeing that and then like hearing what Fern was struggling with made me realise that there is a gap in the market for accessible marketing support for small businesses. So I suppose that's how the idea came.
Yeah, that's so good though, because now you've helped so many people in
Yeah.
We all kind of know this, but was it a side hustle at first? If so, how did you make the jump to go full time?
Yeah, so it was a side hustle at first, for about 2 years. Yeah, probably bang on 2 years. Decided to go full time because in lockdown people were just obviously freaking out because if they didn't have an online presence and their business was closed, they weren't making any money. I got a lot of inquiries through lockdown, and then it just kind of got to the point where I was like, if I'm going to make this work, I'm going to need to make the jump. So Chris was 30 the year lockdown happened, and I'd booked to take him to Rome. And then his birthday's in August, so it was that time where like the world was kind of opening up again, so we were able to go to Rome, and I took like 10 days off my work, but we were only away for like a few, and I said to myself, right, let's just take a break, and if I still feel overwhelmed after it, I'll do something about it. And I remember sitting at my desk, because everyone was obviously still working from home, and I was just like, I can't do this. I feel like I'm suffocating. And prior to this, like my mum and Chris were like, you need to just hand in your notice. But the team that I was on, there was just 2 of us, and my manager was off for a while, so it was just me, and she was just coming back to work when I had decided to hand in my notice, and I just felt like I couldn't let people down. And that's something that I'm quite bad for. But see, at the end of the day, that was a huge company. Like, it really didn't matter if I left.
No.
Like, so I feel like you need to remember that. And not that everyone's going to be handing their notice to start a business, but if you're unhappy in your job, or like you feel like you need to take time off because you're not well, or family issues, if you work for a huge company, do it, because
it's really
you're a number.
It's really not affecting them that much. No.
So basically, was like, right, I handed in my notice. I didn't even tell anyone I was going to do it. It's like it just came out my mouth. And then I obviously had a notice to work. I worked quite a big notice, and I put my hours down to part-time. But in that time, I saved 3 months of bills, like my side of the bills. We were in a smaller house in that then. We gave up Chris's car so that we were just paying for my car. I'd also built up a clientele over 2 years. In like the July, before I handed my notice in the August, I'd kind of put a stop to taking on new client work, so I had a bit of a wait list as well. So I was able to say to people when I was starting full time in the end of October that I could take the projects on. So yeah, that's basically how I did it.
And that sounds like a crazy process.
Yeah, it took a while. And yeah, you've just got to work at it. I don't think, unless you've got financial backing behind you, you could just say tomorrow, right, I'm going self-employed. You do need, I think, to work them both.
Yeah.
To build it up.
Yeah, 100%. We know that Greene Creatives isn't perfect, but we'd like to go into more depth with that. So what was the messy in between? And tell us about the journey from the start to now, and what did the messy middle look like?
When I think of building Greene Creatives, there was a lot of late nights,
And still is.
Yeah. Although I'm trying to change that, but yeah, there is still a lot of late nights. I don't really know, like, it was just a juggle. Everything was just a juggle. I would shut my work laptop and open my MacBook. Yeah, it literally was just hard work. There's no other way to describe it. I had to sacrifice a lot, as in couldn't do stuff because I was working. I feel like Chris has had to sacrifice a lot. Not sacrifice, but he would never say he has, but I feel like he has. Like, sometimes, like this week, we barely saw each other because we're like ships in the night, although we're in the house, but I just work late. So I feel like he has had to sacrifice a lot to support me in it. And yeah, it was stressful. I said this in the episode with Chris. Like, I remember him saying to me, so is this going to be what you're going to be like for the rest of your life? Like, how is this, even if you're self-employed, are you still going to be this stress? And I remember thinking, oh God. And there's times where I do need to, like, touch grass.
Yeah,
and be
that
like,
really helps.
Yeah, and I'll be like, okay, this is not the end of the world.
Yeah.
It was just really messy. Didn't have a website when I went self-employed. I didn't even have, like, services. It was just like, can you help me with this? And I would say yes or no. Yeah, it was just messy, juggling.
But I
late
feel
nights.
like with, like, because you said that you didn't have a website and that, and you just had people came to you and you were like, yeah, I'll help you. You needed people, like, to be there to help you with that. So like you saying that, I'm like, I feel like that's so normal. Like, people, like, probably that's the least thing they'll think about is having a website. They're just like, I'm just gonna help these people. So I feel like that's just normal. I think if you're starting out, it's just a lot of pressure to kind of build that first. I feel like you need to just kind of take time to do that.
Yeah, definitely.
People often just see the after. What's something you wish more people knew about that in-between phase? I feel like you've kind of covered that well about it. It's just kind of stressful.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of work. Greene Creatives' 5th birthday was yesterday, and one of my friends tagged me in a story, and I was like, that's actually hit the nail on the head. Like, she said that we as in, like, the public, people that follow and whatever, see me just do things like this podcast or things that we do, and you just sort of see the end result. But what you don't see is, like, this podcast started, I've thought about doing something like this for ages, but I just didn't have the brain space to do it because obviously before the team grew, a lot of the client work was done by me. So it's really hard to have creative brain space to do stuff for Greene Creatives. Yeah, so people just see the end part. But so that I had this idea for ages and was like, oh, I don't really know how to get it off the ground. Then when you came on the team, not full time, but for a longer period, I was like, right, let's do it. And but people don't see that it started planning it in the summer, then recording. And I remember putting in a couple of my group chats, like, for question ideas, and I was like, oh, the podcast won't be out until September. I'm sure it was like July I was asking for the questions, and they were like, what? Like, so, and that's how far in advance we need to work. So I feel like I just wish people knew the work that goes into it. Yeah.
And you've got a great mental capacity to be able to do all of this plus all that work, because you still do so much by yourself. And just with me helping you with this, I'm like, it's just one little step further for the business.
Yeah, exactly.
So it really does help. Okay, so business and mindset.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a really big thing for you about this business. What do you think makes a good businesswoman? And I think you're a great one, by the way.
So I would say, what makes me a good businesswoman? I feel like I'm prepared to work. Like, I'm not scared of hard work. Kind of already touched on it, but I'm always forward thinking. So I think from working in marketing, I kind of touched on this in Aldo's episode, but I'm always having to plan in advance. So I think that helps. I don't just sit and go, oh, we maybe need to sort that. Like, Amy's going on holiday next week. So like about 4 weeks ago, I was like, right, Amy's on holiday this week. What do we need to do to make sure that that week isn't stressful, or what client stuff can Amy tick off before she comes off? So we're always forward thinking. Same with next week, there'll be the start of November, so I'm starting to think about us taking time off at Christmas and stuff like that. I think I'm good at setting goals for the business and then working my way back to how we achieve it. And I think that's something that I help clients with as well. So clients will say to me, I want to do this, how do we do it? And I'm like, okay, so if we're launching on this date, we would then do this content strategy, blah blah blah. And I'm not always a perfectionist, and I feel like a lot of people that work in my industry are, which is good, but sometimes to get stuff done you just need to say fuck it and do it.
Honestly, amen.
So yeah, I feel like that helps me sometimes. Like, if I was a perfectionist, this podcast would never have ever came. It wouldn't have launched because we learnt a lot in the first series and are still learning. So yeah, that's how I think I'm a good businesswoman.
Absolutely. Okay, how do you deal with conflict or difficult days in the business? Speechless.
I think it gets easier the more you're in business. I am a worrier, and so things like that were hard for me. Like, I feel like when a client would leave, I would think, oh, I'm never going to make money again.
Yeah.
Even though that's not true. I don't like conflict. Like, I'm the type of person that I'll tell you how I feel and how I think, but it takes me a while until I like kind of snap a little bit.
I hate confrontation.
Yeah, like
just I
don't mind. Nobody likes confrontation, but I feel like I think it just gets easier the more you go up, the more you do it. So I've learned that you just need to sometimes deal with situations head on rather than worrying about it. I feel like even at school, I would hate getting in trouble or whatever, and I think that's still with me now. Yeah. And I think it's because I care. I don't want there to be conflict. I don't ever want clients to be disappointed with anything that we've done, which it is going to happen. Yeah, but it's inevitable. It's not really happened, to be fair, but yeah, I think it just gets easier the more you're exposed to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How hard... This is a funny question. How hard is it to switch off from work mode, and how do you manage it?
So in my notes I've put, I don't.
That's true, and you really publicly show that, which I think is so like good. Yeah. Because people, I think in this business, people surely do not think you work 9 to 5 and then you go home and have your tea. It's just constant. Yeah. Yeah, so this is actually quite raw, I guess, but recently in therapy, my therapist has told me that I need to start to switch off because I'm going to end up like with chronic burnout. So I don't really do it, but I am going to try and start again. This is the thing, I go through phases. Sometimes I'm really good at it. One thing that I've done recently to monitor it is I've got an Oura ring. This is part of our daily discussion. This Oura ring. I honestly can't wait to come in and hear what Danny's app has said about her stress levels. If you don't know about it, it's basically a ring, like a fitness watch, but you wear it as a ring. And one of the features on it is it tracks your stress levels, and my stress levels are through the roof. So it gives you like a graph, and it's got like white stress and blues, like when you've been restored, like you're letting your body restore. 9 times out of 10 my graph's just white. And I actually showed my therapist this, and she was like, wow. Yeah, it's not, but then it's so funny because you don't ever seem stressed. You put on such a good front. Yeah, I'm very good at masking it for you and Neve. But it's opened my eyes, because if you'd said to me a day when it was high stress, or you do feel stressed, I'd be like, nah, not really. But my body's probably just used to it. Oh yeah. So I think I'm just in constant fight or flight mode. That is not great. And what I do is, right, and it really frustrates me, I go through like a 2-week stage where I finished at a decent time. And when I say decent, it's maybe like 6 o'clock. It's not 9 to 5. Anyway, and then
I'll go to the gym, I'll do my steps, I'll do whatever, and I feel great, and I'll journal about how good I feel. And then as soon as something throws me off, like I need to work late to get something finished, or I need to do something a bit extra that I wouldn't need to do, boom, that routine goes out the window, and then I'm just back at square one. So I'm trying to work on that more, and over the next 2 weeks I'm going to try and finish at 5:30, 6 o'clock, and I want to see what it does to the graph. So
yeah, hopefully the
I'll
stress
keep you
levels get
updated.
right
It
down.
makes sense though, because my body isn't getting a chance to
just chill,
to restore itself. So like even at the weekends, there's a lot of the time where I need to do work because I've not managed to get it done during the week. Or I think as the business has got bigger, a lot of the time I don't have time to actually be doing laptop work. I'm at meetings, or I'm meeting potential people that are interested in working with us. Like, you guys can't do that because it's not at the stage yet that when people think of Greene Creatives and want to work with us, they want to work with me.
Yeah.
So if I can't send an inquiry you, because they'd be like, what? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, what can she do?
And eventually it will get to a stage where that is what would happen, and I'm not the sort of like the forefront of the brand, but yeah, so I get pulled in lots of different directions, and so I'm going to try and limit the meetings that I do, especially out the office ones and things like that. So the answer to that question, Amy, is I don't.
Yeah.
But we're working on it.
I'm proud.
Yeah.
Put it out there.
Yeah. So if you also feel like this,
we're all in the same
we're
boat.
all in the same boat, yeah.
How do you stop a passion project from becoming stressful once it becomes your job?
I think whenever I feel like, what is the point in this? I think connecting with clients is how I sort of do that. So I see it as sort of the business owner, marketing agency owner version of touching grass. Like, that's the point of it. I've worked with clients that are still with us since when it was a side hustle, so 7 years. They wouldn't be here if they didn't want to, or I hadn't made a difference. So I think it's just connecting with clients and like the difference that we make helps me be like, this is what it's all about.
Yeah, this is why you do what you do.
Yeah.
100%. I'm gonna go into some real talk. Be prepared. Okay, one good thing about running a business and one thing that drives you mad.
I'd probably say the good thing is the flexibility, so I can do what I want, but that's also the thing that drives me mad. I'm so jealous when Chris says he just goes into work and someone tells him what to do. He works his 7 to whenever he finishes, and that's him done. Like, that drives me mad. And I do enjoy the flexibility, but I do sometimes crave the routine of a 9 to 5.
Yeah, 100%. And it's non-stop in a business like this.
Yeah.
Because everybody's constantly wanting your attention and constantly needing things from you.
Yeah.
Okay. What would you do differently if you were starting again?
Probably not fall out of the 9 to 5 routine so much. I feel like if I'd continued that, I think lockdown had a lot to do with that as well, because even though I was working from home, obviously, everyone's routine was just out of sync. Yeah. So then when I then had the business in lockdown, I was kind of didn't have a routine. So yeah, I feel like I would have tried and stuck to more.
What's the most challenging part of your job, and how do you push through it?
Probably the juggle of the business. So I've kind of touched on this, but like, as Greene Creatives growing, my role has changed. So a lot of the time now I'm managing the business, client relationships, the team, and I'm not creating as much. So to do all that, I feel like I am juggling, because it's not like that's just my sole role. Like, there are clients that I work with and they're my clients. I probably wouldn't give them to the team, but managing a business is a role in itself.
Yeah, 100%.
So like, I feel like I'm constantly juggling that. There's that juggle, but then also to put my all into it and like be a good leader for you guys. I feel like I'm also juggling looking after me so that I can show up. So that's the most challenging part is the juggle, but and how I push through it, probably
put it to the back of your mind.
Yeah, and I'm very much like would never let anyone down, so I'll always show up for you guys, make sure that you know what you're doing and stuff like that. I obviously show up for my clients, and I think it is just a juggle struggle. But then some things happen when like if I've looked after myself, like when the server went down the other Monday, you were like, what is going on? And I was genuinely like, oh well, like
we'll do something.
but there's something else we can do, because like we couldn't get on Asana that we like manage all our tasks on. We couldn't get on Canva. What else could we not get on?
I think it was
just Meta Business Suite. Were we able to schedule?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because we couldn't figure out who I had to schedule content for, so we had to like think back
to like the previous week. So and because I'd looked after myself that weekend, I wasn't that stressed about it. So it's kind of like managing that, and that's something that I struggle with, and it does frustrate me because I know that if I make time to look after myself, the stresses of the business aren't as bad, but it's just trying to remember that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Any particular wins or success stories that keep you going on tough days?
One of the biggest wins that I'm probably proud of is like the team that I've built. I got a card for Greene Creatives' 5th birthday last week, and it said in it that I should be proud of the mentor I am for young women. And I'm proud of the opportunities that I've been able to give you guys that are on the team or that have been on the team, because when I was at uni doing like a marketing degree and like you do, I didn't think I would ever going to get a job in Dundee, so I'm proud that I've sort of contributed to that. I'm also really proud of the client relationships. Like I say, we very rarely work with someone one-off, or it's usually long term, and I'm proud of that. There's no better testimonial of my work than the fact I've worked with obviously Fern's my best friend, so who else would she work with? But so I've worked with Fern since 2018, but like Kay, for example, Kay's became like one of my good friends now as well, but she could easily go and find someone else to do that. But
and she's really good with like doing her content, but she still chooses to be with you. Yeah.
And that's for different reasons. Like Kay can sometimes struggle keeping on top of the social and stuff like that. And I really do want her to come on the podcast, which she will do, because her story will be really relatable for a lot of people. But yeah, she could work with anyone, or she could do it herself, but we've built such a good relationship, and I know her so well that, remember she said to you the other day, oh, Danny, I'll be able to work it out. Like I can't manage just now.
Yeah.
Because I can read her inside out. So I'm so proud of that. You wouldn't get that from a big agency. So
no,
that's something that I am really proud of.
Yeah, there's no connection like that.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like if you're a small business yourself working with a local agency company, I feel like there's that connection there.
Yeah.
And you really don't get that anywhere else. Work-life balance.
Woo!
Great topic of conversation. How do you manage running a business and being a stepmom?
So I'm lucky that, so being a stepmom, for starters, I'm fully aware of I am not Owen's mum, so I don't have that responsibility that comes with that. But we do have Owen 50-50, so I suppose being co-parents with Owen's mum helps. So we're all like a team, and we help each other out when we can. I'm also lucky that Chris is an amazing dad. He's really supportive, and we balance each other out when it comes to like parenting Owen. Owen is 15 now, so he's very independent. Well, when he wants to be. But I think being honest with Owen has helped a lot as well. So like he's obviously old enough to understand that I work for myself and the responsibility that I've got. So he gets it when I work late. But he also knows that on our time, if he needs something, then I'm the one to phone, because Chris is in Arbroath. So if anything happened at school or whatever, I'm in Dundee. So yeah, it's been a bit of a juggle. I'm the one that does all the school runs because Chris is away to work. I used to do the school pickups as well when Owen was younger, and that was hard, to be honest, because you feel like you're just dropping him off at school, and then 6 hours later you're having to pick them up.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems so short.
Flies by.
But it seems like it would take up so much of my day, and I don't know if any parents listening to this would agree with that. Like, the school run isn't a quick thing. It's actually the most stressful thing. Like, I don't know if you've done it.
Yeah, a couple of times, yeah.
Yeah, and I hate it. Like, finding a car parking space.
It's
like
just mobbed.
all these children running at you.
Yeah.
But not to turn this into a parenting podcast, but yeah, so I don't have the same full responsibility as a mum, but I manage because Chris is such a good dad. We just make it work. And Owen's now a lot older, so he
100%.
knows the drill.
He can also kind of look after himself a little bit more now.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, school holidays and that aren't as stressful. Whereas before, I used to take time off, like take a Friday off, and me and Owen would go and do something and stuff.
Yeah. Do you feel pressure around roles like picking up kids when they're unwell? That kind of links in with picking them up, dropping them off.
Yeah,
like,
so sometimes
having that flexibility.
When it is our week, like I say, I do a lot of the school run stuff, but Chris picks up. He is would sort Owen's teas and things like that, whereas I'm usually working late. But I do try, like on Monday, I made us all tea because I was like, we need to, especially because he's getting older and he literally just wants to sit in his room. I try and do things so that we all sit down and eat together. So not really. It was different. So Chris is now on day shifts. It was different when Chris was on night shift. He'd be sleeping during the day, so I would have to pick up the slack. But him changing his shifts has definitely helped a lot more with work-life balance.
Yeah, 100%. What gets you up in the morning? What do you love most about what you do?
I suppose even if like I've worked late and I need to get up and do it all again in the morning, it's because I don't work for anyone else. I work for me, so I'm building something for me, and at the end of the day, if I don't get up and do it, no one else is going to do it.
Yeah.
So
that's a really motivational, because I actually could not be in your shoes and wake up and have my own business and be like, I actually need to put the effort in today. Like, I need to be there for people.
Yeah, it's hard, and especially I have bad days like anybody else does, but I think that is because I never like letting people down. That sort of pushes me through, and I enjoy what I do, the difference that we make, so that keeps me going as well.
100%. Inspirational talk now.
Okay.
Who have your biggest influences been in business and in life?
I've always been surrounded by really hardworking parents, so they're probably the biggest influences. I've always just, they've probably inspired me a lot and supported me. So yeah, they're a huge influence in my sort of work ethic and what we do. And I've realised being a parent how hard that is to like install into your kids. Like, I know Owen's still young, but I hope he's hardworking.
Yeah.
It's weird because you don't know what your kids are going to be like, but yeah, like, did my parents think like that? I don't know, but yeah, I've just been around a lot of work ethic, and I think that's what, it's weird with, like, I see now, like, I struggle to see where people wouldn't want to work.
Yeah, I think it's a generation thing, because all three of my sisters literally worked from the age of like 12 to like now, and they've always wanted to work because they just always wanted money.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I always say want money, I want to work and I enjoy my job. But my sisters always said to me, why do you never just want to like get a job?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know, like, I just don't have a drive to like work. Now I do, because I enjoy my job. I never used to, but
yeah,
I never had that drive like that.
I know what you mean. So like, my little sister, there's 14 years between me and her, and she's got a job, she's at uni and things like that now. But like, I worked from when I was like 16 at school. Caitlin didn't do that until like later on, so I do think that things have started to change.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, I think it has just been around hardworking people and what they've been able to provide for you. And that's what me and Chris always say for Owen, like, we hope he realises the life that we've provided for him is through hard work.
And especially because you've got your own business, that's so good to have a parent that has their own business and is so successful in that area.
Yeah.
That it's kind of like inspirational. It might make him want to like do something like that.
Yeah.
And that's always nice to be around. Where do you see your business in 5 years? After celebrating 5 years of being
Yeah.
self-employed?
So 5 years ago, I would have never imagined I'd achieved what I've done. In 5 years, I just want to carry on building what we're building. I'd love to have a couple more people on the team that are like experts in services that we offer. I would love to have worked on my personal brand more and get work through that and just sort of like oversee GC projects. And Greene Creatives obviously started because I wanted to make marketing accessible to business owners, and I'm never ever ever going to forget my roots in that.
Yeah.
Or even like the Dundee community and businesses here. So I feel like I'd always want to give back in a way. So whether that's we have lower ticket priced offers, or we do sort of like pro bono work for an organisation that makes a difference. Like I've noticed with us working with RASAC, that's a sexual violence charity organisation locally, the difference of them having us to help them shout about their message that's so powerful. I can see the difference that's making, and I do think that's maybe something down the line that I'd like to do more of. But not all organisations can outsource, so maybe like some sort of giving back to the community.
Yeah, 100%. What advice would you give to someone considering this path? That could be like self-employed or just in the marketing.
Yeah, I think in the marketing, there's so many social media content creators and all that out there now, which is amazing. But personally, from someone that's working in marketing, I think you need to know more than that. I think people think it's an easy job.
Oh yeah, anybody thinks that they can wake up and be like, I'm going to be an influencer, I'm going to be a content
I'm
creator.
going to do
all
social
these brands
media
are
for
going to be
businesses.
Yeah.
Both anybody that's worked on my team cannot believe the work that goes into like just a post. Even Chris,
when I like was on my placement and I came in and you were like, okay, well we do this scheduling and we do 2-week batches, I'm like, how do you even like think of stuff to put out? Like it still doesn't, I can't wrap my head around how you have such knowledge of this area. And I know that I'm still starting out, but I'm like how do you just have like that knowledge?
It's crazy. I actually was thinking about that the other day, because all these processes that we've got, I've made up, obviously from just doing it. But we used to do the content in 1 week batches.
So every week you'd be working on that part? Oh gosh.
But it was just so draining, and then obviously the bigger I got, the more clients, I couldn't do it. So, but yeah, even Chris said that in his podcast, that people think, oh, you just post an image and then that's it.
Yeah, you don't think what's actually behind it all.
So I just don't think you can. There's a lot of work that goes into it, but also I think marketing's changing. I'm even noticing now with our socials, a lot of clients are considering paid ads now, because you just can't rely on organic. It's just changing. Email marketing's huge as well. I've neglected our list for ages, but we sent our first couple of emails this week, so that's back. Small businesses don't think about that, and I just feel like people think it's an easy job. Like even in a consultancy role that I've had, and I've worked with like a bigger company, everybody wants to work on the social team because they think it's an easy job, and it's not. So I think if you want to get into marketing, amazing, because you'll have such a great career. But I think you need to know more about just posting on social media. You need to know about a full marketing strategy. You can't just make an Instagram profile and offer to create videos for people anymore. So that would be my advice, like really learn about it, learn about how to create a full strategy from their website and their SEO, paid ads, email marketing, and all that.
I feel like you also need to be so driven to want to work in this industry, because it's really, really hard. Really hard. And I can't even imagine what your brain is like working in this industry, because I'm not, like, I'm new into it. And even I'm like, oh my God. It's really like in depth. Really a lot goes into it. Quick fire round.
Okay.
First thing that comes to your head. Dream collab.
Odd Muse and Amy Smell.
Yeah. Honestly, it's so funny, because from the day that I got my uni like I was accepted to uni, I was like, I am gonna wear an odd news dress across my, like, when I graduate. So that's so funny that like we like both see how well that she's made that business, and now she's got a store in New York, and it's just, I know, like, she's just opened a new one in London as well. Yeah, honestly, I find her, I love Audit Muse, I love their clothes, I've bought quite a few things now, but the way she shows up and is so honest about that, she's not even 30 yet. Yeah, her business blew up so fast, and she's got such good control over how big that's just went. Yeah, I think she was crying again the other day on TikTok about like how she's really struggling and stuff, and I just find it really honest, and just watching her YouTube vlogs and stuff is what kind of inspired me to build on my personal brand. So yeah, I would love to do something with her. Yeah, that's so good. One word that sums up your brand journey so far? Fulfilling. Yes, absolutely. What was your plan B job? So if I didn't work in marketing for someone else, I think I'd be a good therapist. 100%. The advice that Danny gives me, guys, honestly, I'm like, opens my eyes. Or I'd like to work in true crime. Honestly, I love a true crime podcast. Chris is always like, are we watching another murder documentary? I'm like, yeah, I love that. That's how I chill out, which is a bit worrying. Yeah, but just learning who kills people. Yeah. So I think I would work in true crime or something like that. Yeah, absolutely. That is us. Well, thank you so much for listening, guys. If you have found this relatable or inspiring, then please do let me know. You can find us on Instagram at Greene Creatives, Greene. I've spent my whole life saying that. It's got an E at the end. So yeah, I'd love to know if me sharing my business story has been inspiring. And thank you so much for listening. Bye.